Barrie.
We are here today at Just Some Noise Studios in Barrie, Ontario, speaking with Barrie's own Megan Anne. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. We've been talking a bit, trying to link this up, but we finally got this opportunity. So welcome to the show. Yeah. So let's go back a little bit. What did you listen to growing up as a child? What influenced you?
I gravitated a lot towards like singer-songwriters and really like authentic lyrics even from a young age. So lots of like Taylor Swift was a big one for me. Even like Ali and AJ. I don't know if you remember them, but there was like this duo sister writing their own music. Yeah, I got into Paramore really early too. I feel like a lot of the stuff I listened to as a kid is still
lingering.
Stuff I listen to now.
Yeah. What influenced you the most, would you think?
Yeah, I would say a lot of female voices, because right away I wanted to be a singer. And I really loved when people were writing their own music as well. I feel like that just made the songs more authentic. It made it feel more like, oh, they're telling me this story that happened to them instead of just like they're telling this story. So yeah, a lot of artists I listened to when I was younger are still the ones that I'm into now. So a lot of like Taylor Swift, Paramore, Jonas Brothers are making a comeback. I feel like they're still killing it. Yeah.
That's going back.
Yeah.
Wow. Is your family musically inclined, or were you pushed, or kind of did your parents want you to get into music at any point, or?
I don't really feel like I was pushed at all. They were like really supportive with everything. My dad plays guitar. He's a phenomenal guitar player. So I guess maybe just like growing up and hearing that all the time had it in my head of like, oh, like this, you can just pick up an instrument and learn it and sound like that. Cool. And my brother plays drums. So yeah, we're kind of musically inclined, but it was still something that I feel like I chose myself, but they've always been supportive, which is nice.
That's cool. Do you recall, once you got the ball rolling and everything, do you recall your first gig?
Yes.
And where was that, and how was that experience?
It's fun. So the first time I sang in front of people was like a talent show when I was like 9. And then there was like the coffee house era, you know, the high school coffee house. The McLaren Arts Center would do a coffee house twice a year. And then through that I started meeting more people and then got offered like my first paying gig, which felt like huge. I was like, I'm getting money to do this? And I remember it was at a place downtown called the CWC. It was a community center. And I got paid like $50 to sing for half an hour. It must have been like 17 or 18 or 19, somewhere in that range. And then after that, all of a sudden the ball started rolling of just people I had met at coffee houses or at that gig, and then it was like, oh, I can't do my gig tonight at the British Arms. Do you want to take it? And here we are.
Wow, yeah. Here we are. So did you start off working basically by yourself, doing your own like guitar, keyboard thing, or did you have an accompaniment or a band at that point, or was it basically on your own?
It was on my own for the first like few years. I was just playing piano, and then I learned ukulele because it was easier to carry around, and started like busking with ukulele. And then I hit a point where I was like, okay, I feel like bands are so cool, and they bring like a bigger energy to it, and it's like a musical conversation. So I wanted to do that. So I started looking online. It was a lot of Kijiji ads, and went through like various different iterations of players before I found the ones that I'm with now.
Yeah, that's cool. You mentioned the ukulele, and I know you're a multi-instrument player. And you also had taught or did classes, did you not, for ukulele at one point?
Yeah, the city invited me to do like a ukulele workshop, which was so cute and fun. So it was at like the Music Pro, and then it was just like a 2 or 3 hour drop-in for young people to come in and just learn a couple songs on ukulele. I feel like it's such an accessible instrument because it's only 4 strings, and it's so tiny too, so like young kids can figure it out without it being like a guitar, which is sometimes like too big for their hands. So.
How was the feedback from that? I bet you that the parents must have loved that.
Yeah, it was so fun, and the kids were really into it. It was cool because some of the kids came in and like had never touched ukulele before. It was brand new, and then other kids came in and had started to learn it but wanted like more of the, you know, theory behind just this note sounds good. Was it
for the kids only, or did the parents get involved in the program too?
Some of the parents got involved, yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I bet you they must have been excited about that as well.
It was so fun, yeah. climbed and we flowed till the waves got too big and I said what I needed, but you wouldn't listen. Caught up in your own head and I was left drifted. And I fell apart then. You did what you wanted. We're fine until when you became the villain. But I'm the greatest thrill that you could ever find. In that one-horse town that you dragged me to, and you dragged me down, and you know it's true that I'm the greatest thrill that you could ever get. And I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I don't have your same regrets. I guess I'll always remember the ways that you kept score. And I'll always miss you, but I don't know how to love you anymore. You know and you know, so let's stop pretending to go on with the show, and we both know it's ending. I told my friends with your ear at the door, you said you were too late, don't know what you're late for. The credits are rolling, I take myself home and you act forgetfully, but you know what you did to me. I'm the greatest thrill that you could ever find. In that one-horse town that you dragged me to, and you dragged me down, and you know it's true that I'm the greatest thrill that you could ever get. And I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I don't have your same regrets. I guess I'll always remember the ways that you kept score. And I'll always miss you, but I don't know how to love you anymore. I feel like I've been here before. The same hallway, these same locked doors, big or small, just trying to find the key. And all my thoughts go back to you. One thing I know to be true, I'm moving on to things you'll never see. Glimpse of forgiveness there in the distance. How'd we end up here with you, a stranger, when I'm the greatest thrill that you could ever find? In that one-horse town that you dragged me to, and you dragged me down, and you know it's true that I'm the greatest thrill that you could ever get. And I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I don't have your same regrets. I guess I'll always remember the ways that you kept score. And I'll always miss you, but I don't know how to. I'll always remember the ways that you kept score. And I'll always miss you, but I don't know how to love you anymore.
Going back a bit too, a couple of years ago, you got involved with the city of Barrie used to do their emerging artists, I believe it was called, and it was 2018. I think you got involved and won that, or was it past? I'm trying to think when it was that you.
Yeah.
Was it 2018?
It was 2018,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Good. And how was that? How was that winning that?
It was so cool. Like, okay, so I got nominated, and it's so dumb when you watch the Grammys and you're like, it was an honor to be nominated. But it really was. I was like really surprised. And I went to the award. I actually have like a Snapchat that I sent my friend that I saved, which was like me in the mirror being like, ready to go lose. And then they're reading my thing, and then they said my name, and my mom and I both looked at each other and were like, what? It was so cool. I was totally not expecting it. I really, truly wasn't. And it was so nice because that was the year that I put out like my first EP and was really starting to work with my band more. It was like so much was happening, and to like get that award felt like so validating of like, oh, people are like liking what I'm doing. That's so
you
cool.
did have the full band at that point for that. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah. And what did you take out of that? I'm just curious. How did that? Was that a big stepping stone for you to get involved? Did it open doors for you in this area?
Right. It's just a cool thing to have on a resume, I feel like, when I'm like looking to get a gig, instead of just being like, hi, I play music, because so many people do. I feel like it's just something that like sets me apart a little bit, to be like, no, but like I play music really seriously. Like I have this award, I have this education in it. So I think it just like is a nice like thing on the resume, and was a nice like, I don't know, it was such a cool night when
that sounds awesome. You recorded a while ago too at Orange Studios in Toronto.
Yeah.
And I was reading on your bio, and you had mentioned that there's some previous artists there that had some pretty good influence. Amy Winehouse, and there had been a few others there. Did you get anything out of that room? Like, you know, sometimes you hear stories of people recording in certain places, and they can feel that presence of, whether it be Sun Studios or whatever, they get a vibe out of that room. Did you feel any energy from that space, or?
Totally.
Yeah? Oh, cool.
So I recorded there as part of like a school project. I was at Seneca for an independent music production program, and they were like, 3 students are going to get to record at Orange Lounge. And a lot of students didn't want the opportunity because they really wanted to do it in their home studio and really like hone their engineering skills. And I was like, you're telling me I can record at Orange Lounge for $0 extra, like, please pick me. So I went there, my whole class was there watching me. We walk in, and there's like the wall, and it's signed by like all these artists that are a huge influence to me. It's like Amy Winehouse, like you said, Lord is written on the wall, like just like a million signatures. So cool. I get in, and usually I record with my own band, but this was all, they had hired session players,
okay.
So that was even cooler energy, because here are these guys that listened to the song once, and now they're just like, amazing. It was the coolest vibe. But yeah, there was definitely such a creative energy in the room. Yeah, it was wild. And then people in my class who hadn't signed were like, oh, I wish I was doing this today too.
Yeah.
I felt so lucky. Yeah.
That's cool. That must have been a real pinch me. How did the band take it, knowing that they're not going to actually be being recorded as well? Did they have a bit of a problem with that, knowing it was just you kind of full steam ahead?
Right. No. They were totally cool with it.
That's good.
The guys that I work with are so amazingly supportive. We're like a little band family. And actually, at the time, I was working with a different bass player, and the bass player I have now was actually in my class at Seneca. So he was like in the studio watching it all happen. And then after the school year, it was like, we should work together. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your first CD. It was called Phoenix, I believe. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about your first experience with recording and the first EP, and getting that all out and everything?
Yeah. It was cool. It was such a huge learning experience, and such like an amalgamation of different players, different studios, different experiences. So the first experience was, I was on a show on Rogers TV for like years, called Local Live.
I was going to say, this isn't your first shot at Rogers, is it?
I love Rogers so much. So it was a show called Local Live that I won a season of. So then I went to go to the Rose Room to record Stay Out All Night, which was my first song on the CD. So that was my first big recording experience, was, you know, this gorgeous wood paneled studio and these cameras in my face and all this stuff. And then after that, it was like me in a barn recording, which was also super, super fun. So it was funny once the show was gone to try to like figure out then how to do it on my own with stuff. So then I recorded more of it at a place called Your Productions in Barrie, and then a place called We Love Sound in Tottenham. And it was really cool because with the Rose Room Stay All Night Rogers one, it was like other people producing it and engineering it and all this other stuff, which is awesome. But when I got to do like the other ones, I got to really be the one to pick and choose, like, that's the vocal take that I want, and this is that. And I realized I really like love that aspect of it too. And then I had to research how to get it online. It was cool.
It's a lot of work, isn't it, from there on in? Yeah. So you had a lot of input into the first EP then, did you?
Yeah.
A lot of say in the production? Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Cool. So let's get up into your new EP that it's going to be coming. Do you want to explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Okay. So I've been with my guitar player Russell for, it's going to be 4 years in the summertime.
Okay.
And he's like a brother to me, and we work together all the time. And I really wanted to put out another EP because the last one came out in 2018. And I have a lot of ideas for a full band thing, but with COVID, we just weren't able to rehearse the whole time or go in the studio. But because just guitar and me, we were like outside in the summertime working and writing and creating. So there's going to be 3 songs on it. Okay. And it's going to be called...
We're going to hear some of these later on.
Yeah, we're going to play all of them.
Awesome.
And it's going to be called Songs with Russ.
Okay.
And it's just Songs with Russ. It's just voice voices and guitar, and I'm so excited. It's going to be such a different vibe from the other one because I think this one's a lot more like sonically cohesive.
Okay.
Rather than the first one, which was like some of it's synths and some of it's acoustic and some of it's more rock. So this is just like one acoustic vibe.
What's the difference in the writing do you find between your first EP and then this one that's going to be coming out soon? Were you kind of influenced by current status, or was it kind of a lot of it recorded prior to what we're in now?
One song was recorded prior to the pandemic, and that's a song called Halifax. And I realized that I didn't have any songs recorded yet that were just like voice and guitar, which is funny because I feel like the majority of my live shows are that. So I was like, oh, we should capture like that thing that we do. And then COVID shut everything down, and I started writing a lot, and Russell and I got together. So the biggest difference with this one is that on my first one, all the songs were just written by me, whereas this one I have a song that I wrote with Russell on it called The Last Dance. So that was cool because he came and had like this gorgeous guitar riff, and I was like, I would like that. Let's make this a joint song. So I would say that's probably the biggest difference, is just that there was like a co-write on this one. And then the other ones I'm usually thinking like how to build up, like where do I want the drums to come in, and what do I want the bass to be doing. Whereas this one, it was literally like how can we make it sound as full as possible with just like a cool guitar line. Down that road again, strangers to lovers, back to friends. Phone rings, I go back in time to the night where I wrote you this lullaby. And I've been getting high for 40 days and 40 nights, writing stories from the lies I've told in my life. Take a walk down the boulevard, realize I've gone too far. Well, I need to convince myself I should just leave us on the shelf. And I've been getting high for 40 days and 40 nights, writing stories from the lies I've told in my life. I'm turning not to go. I have run out of hope. But always save the last dance for you. The same old song and dance, we're just singing a different tune. Cheek to cheek, another drink, just us two. Always save the last dance for you. I knew you were gonna do it.
Do you write a lot with him as well, or is it primarily just yourself? And yeah.
Yeah, I write mostly by myself, and then we'll like bring it to the band, and he'll usually figure out like the guitar part that sounds cool, because I can have ideas, but he can do stuff that I don't even think of, and he just like really knows what I like. The Last Dance is really the only song we've written together, which is funny because it's been like 4 years. And then I like co-writing a lot. And especially with COVID, there's open doors because everything was on Zoom. So I was no longer like confined to like local people. So I started writing online with this guy that's in Ottawa, and he does like punk music. So we did something that's like totally out of my comfort zone. So I love co-writing, but I feel like I usually end up co-writing and then it becomes like a separate project or entity. Okay. Whereas the ones that usually end up on my EP are all like my own writings. Yeah.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer the smaller acoustic sets, or do you like the full band and the crowd? What really gets you stimulated? Do you prefer one over the other?
Not really. They're both really cool in different ways. Playing with Just Russell is fun because we have this cool game where one of us will start the song and the other one has to like figure out what it is and just jump in. So we do that live all the time. So it keeps it really interesting to not have like a pre-planned set and to be able to just vibe. And we've played long enough that I can tell by the way he's playing, or he can tell by the way I'm singing if we're gonna do like an extra chorus at the end or whatever. Like it's more of a conversation, which is fun.
Okay.
But then the full band stuff is cool in the other way because it is so rehearsed and so tight and so planned out and so, you know, a bigger energy, and the crowd gets more dancey. So they're both so fun, but like for different reasons.
Yeah. What's coming up down the pipe there? Have you got gigs? I know things are slowly starting to get finally back to order, we hope. Have you got anything lined up? I know the new CD hasn't come out yet, has it? It's going to be released soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so are you following up with that with the gigs now, trying to get that in order and trying to promote the new CD?
Yeah, we're just starting to get the gigs picking back up. I've been really lucky because I was playing so much before the pandemic that now I'm getting messages from people like, you were supposed to play in 2020. Do you want to come play now? So it's nice that people are now like asking us to play shows. It's very cool. But yeah, we've been playing like around the Rec Room. We have some Orangeville gigs at a place called the Tap House. I work a lot with Barrie's live music show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they'll basically whenever they set up an event, Jordan and Jake, who really run the show there, are always inviting my band to play. So I'm like always so down for that.
Cool.
So yeah.
We talked earlier about last week it was when you were doing a show with the Barrie Live Music. And it was a little bit on the tad cooler side, you could say. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was good. It's funny sometimes because if you really get in the zone, you don't notice. And we were only playing for half an hour, and it was a full band gig and very dancey. And we were in the middle of Dunlop, and so I thought that people would just be walking by. But a lot of people really stopped and listened and got into it, which really like brought our energy up. And then, of course, as soon as we were done, I was like, my feet are freezing. I didn't notice until afterwards.
Video, do you do a lot of video work? Do you like to follow up your songs with video production? Have you got anything planned in that way with the new EP coming out? Is there any video works?
Right, I would definitely like to. I only have one music video now, which was one that I just it's for a song called I Want You to Know, and I just kind of like cut together a bunch of different clips that I had of live performances. I've never really like gone to shoot like a real like music video where like it's in the same way I'm in the studio where it's like my vision and I'm like directing it, but I think that would be a really cool next step. He brings me flowers on a Monday, and he calls me baby in the nice way. He's good to me even when I don't deserve it. He makes me feel like I'm worth it. He always asks me how my day was, and he calls me pretty just because. Love songs have never been easy for me to write, but with him I don't wanna fight. But I still miss you, and I still wish you had come back for me.
doesn't deserve my halfway feelings, but it's hard to let go of all my demons. And I remember all the things you said to make me hurt, but I can still picture your yellow shirt. I still miss you, and I still wish you had come back for me. And I still wonder, did you love her significantly? 'Cause you know I would have left it all for Halifax City. He's so good on paper, he's kind and he's brave, but there's no spark to burn. I'll take your name to my grave. He's sweet and he's reckless, but without you I'm restless, and we all deserve better than to end up together. You're sick of my love songs, and honestly you're not wrong, but you're the one who asked if I'd come with you to Halifax. So I still miss you, and I still wish you had come back for me. I still wonder, did you love her significantly? 'Cause you know I would have left it all for Halifax City.
Well, thank you very much once again for coming to the show. It was a great honor.
Thank you.
And look forward to hearing and seeing some new product coming out of you soon.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks again. Take care.
This program is brought to you by OHL Action Pack. Looking to see tomorrow's stars today? Follow the teams and players you want to watch. OHL Action Pack is part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media. You're watching Rogers TV, Barrie.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
It isn't the heavy trays that make the job difficult, or the fast pace you need to keep up. It's not working another double because someone